Hi, I'm Mark, and Subliteral Network is my channel. I do art and comics, and thank you for watching. Every week I post art 5 days a week to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And this is kind of an overview of the work that I posted all week with kind of a little, maybe a fuller version of the picture, a little more explanation of kind of what the picture is about and why I did it, and something that is nice to see if you don't follow me daily over on those other places where I am. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and please also remember to come back for more videos. I'll be doing a new one every week, and it's a chance to see some new stuff. Every once in a while, I'll kind of riff on a little Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff, and because those books are surprisingly good. They're pretty old, and they're a little weird sometimes, but they kind of take you in, and they take you along, and they just tell you a pretty good story that you're kind of all in for once you kind of get going on the books. So of course, I mean, lots of people kind of take inspiration from those books. They draw the characters, and one thing that's really interesting about the whole thing is that by the time John Carter or any of his heroes get to Mars, nobody is wearing anything except jewelry and maybe like a silk cape and some sandals. And that, well, that's an interesting choice. It does bring up a bunch of questions, but it really is just great to draw characters like that. People draw them for comic books and stuff, and they always put costumes and loincloths and very strategically placed jewelry. And, you know, that's necessary for publishing, but it still is just really something to try to make those characters work and to look sort of realistic or plausible when you make drawings of them. So I'm constantly coming back to all the princesses of Mars. This is a close-up of a picture of Dejah Thoris that I drew. Charcoal, white charcoal on charcoal and white charcoal on charcoal paper. I don't work like this a lot anymore, but I do like the way it came out a lot. And okay, next up, I'm showing you the full version of it, which is not my favorite picture in the world. But you know, I drew it and I finished it, and I have stuck a bunch of bars over it, which I hope YouTube doesn't get too nuts on me about. But I just thought, well, listen, it's something more than what I posted during the week, and you can kind of see the whole picture. You know, with the two moons in the background and the jewelry. And I am a confirmed Barsoom nudist. You know, if I'm going to draw the characters, I'm not going to draw them wearing anything, which means I can only show them here and there and in certain places. But you know, that's fine with me. I was testing out this paper that I had pulled out of a recycling bin, and it's a printer paper, and one side's really glossy and the other side is just a plain kind of less glossy Bristol board, and it just takes ink so well that I couldn't throw it out. Now the problem is that it doesn't take pencil very well. Even the lightest kind of pencil marks you make on it, you can't erase. And so I had a tough time. I even had to go into Photoshop with this one and try to get some of the pencil marks that were left over on it out. But it is just difficult to give up a paper that takes ink so well. Although I keep saying I'm going to throw it out, but I got it in a pile right back here, you know, in a box, and I use it once in a while. The problem with printer papers designed for printing, is that they're not designed for artists, which means things like pencil doesn't erase off of them. And that's too bad, but it is hard for me to throw out good paper. I'm going to have to try to make an effort to use it and to find some kind of pencil technique that's going to let me draw on it without having to worry about getting rid of the pencil. Blue pencil could work because it's a non-reproducing pencil. I'm still experimenting. But this was just a girl in a tube top with these low jeans and a knife and bats. I kept adding stuff. I stopped at the bats, and I don't know what the story with this picture is, but boy, that paper is just really good. Ballpoint sketches are they're fun and thrilling because you can't erase anything. So you're thinking, or I'm thinking ahead a little bit as to what I'm making, where the lines are going to go, how eventually I want the whole thing to turn out, and trying to get that all in one shot without screwing it up. And this one, I end up using this one a lot as a reference when I draw like these super muscular blown out figures like this, because at this point I hit a set of proportions that I think works really well when I'm drawing like a gigantically muscular woman, which she couldn't possibly exist in real life. But you still have to come up with some kind of graceful proportions. And when I hit this one, I it was on a piece of like crappy paper that was used in it was a what was it, a packing list or something, and I just drew it on the back. And here you can see it has I put a little Photoshop gray in there just to kind of make the figure stick out from the background. But I reference this picture a lot when I am really trying to get these super blown out figures. I did so much work with those one of those fancy Sharpie sets they used to sell. I picked it up at Staples for like $12, and I just had fun with it. This is a trading card sized Space Girl. She can't fit in this. She can't fit inside the porthole. And when I'm doing those little sketch cards, it's fun to try to pack a bunch of stuff in there to tell a story. Like you can see the planet back there, you can see the stars, you know she's in space, you see that she's trying to squeeze into some kind of metal something and she can't quite get in. It's just a fun way to tell a little tiny story quickly. So I drew it in black Sharpie and came in with some of those just really interesting colors. They've got tangerine, and then they've got like a dark tangerine, and there's all a couple of grays and stuff. And I had a lot of fun working out how to make those things work and make a decent picture at trading card size. I got dozens of these things, and one day, well, they show up once in a while. So if you come back on this show, you'll see that I've managed to post them online now and again. The best ones, the ones that came out the best that I like. So we do see them here from time to time. I used to do an art stream over on this service called Picarto. I would do it once a week, and I would play like techno music behind me, and I would just draw. And well, I don't know. What ended up happening was I would go there, and like a bunch of other artists that I knew would be on there, and I would end up not streaming and just sort of sitting there watching them work and showing up in their comments and stuff. I didn't have a lot of success streaming over there, but it was fun, and I did a bunch of nice pictures, and maybe one day I'll get this whole streaming thing figured out. But today is not that day. This is one of the pictures that I did on the stream. I saved the background, and I use that in a lot of different work that I do now. I kind of swap it out and stick another figure on the front, or take pieces of it and use it as a background for something else. So this was just a Space Girl cartoon with a kind of squishy squid ugly thing on her head. And I think what's fun about it is that it's just a little story that happens right in a picture. That's kind of how illustration is. Sometimes, you can get stuck in a rut where you're just drawing like pinups where people are posing for pictures. They're just sitting there looking at the camera and not much is happening in the picture. But I sort of come out of an illustrator's education or mindset myself. So I like to have a picture, like a book cover almost, or something, that goes into why I do comics. So I just want to tell a little story, and I think I get better pictures when I approach it that way.